In a small village by the mountains lived a boy who couldn't control his thoughts. He was talented, but his mind was his enemy. Until one day, an old sage taught him a lesson that would change his life and maybe yours too. Aaron constantly struggled with overthinking. He would imagine every possible failure before he even started a task. He was terrified of judgment, rejection, and making mistakes. He wasn't lazy or weak. He was simply trapped by the loudest voice in his head. One morning, after giving up on yet another project, he sat by a river, tears welling in his eyes. He whispered to himself, "Why can't I stop these thoughts?" Suddenly, a calm voice came from behind him. "Because you've never learned to command them." Aaron turned to see an old sage, sitting peacefully beneath a tree. The sage noticed the deep frustration on Aaron's face and said, "Come, walk with me." They reached a quiet clearing, where the sage picked up two clay pots. One was empty, the other filled with water. He explained, "These pots represent your mind. One is filled with every thought you allow inside. The other is the mind you wish you had calm, controlled, and peaceful." He handed the empty pot to Aaron. "Your task is simple. Carry this pot while I fill it, drop by drop, without letting it spill." Aaron looked confused. "But it's empty," the sage replied. "So is your mind when you do not guard it. Let's see how quickly it fills." The sage lifted his hand and poured a small amount of water into Aaron's pot. "This is a fear you imagined." More water went in. "This is a worrying you repeated," and more. "And this drop is something someone else said that you believed, without question." The pot was filling up fast. Aaron struggled to keep it steady, but the water sloshed over the sides. "It's impossible. I can't stop it from spilling." The sage smiled gently. "Exactly. When you let every thought enter, your mind overflows. You drown in what you never needed to carry." The sage then emptied Aaron's pot and placed a single, small pebble inside. "This pebble," he said, "is your focus. When you choose what to think about, every other thought becomes quieter." He started pouring water again, but this time, more slowly. Aaron noticed something incredible. The pebble helped keep the water balanced. The pot didn't spill. The sage explained, "When your mind has a purpose, it becomes strong. Thoughts will still come, but they cannot control you." Aaron's eyes widened with understanding. "So, the pebble is like choosing what matters." The sage nodded. "Yes. Choose your thoughts the way a warrior chooses his battles." Finally, the sage picked up two stones, one black, one white, and placed them in Aaron's hands. "These are the two forces inside every mind," he said. "The white stone is discipline, courage, focus, and resilience. The black stone is doubt, fear, anger, and negativity." Aaron looked at the stones, then back at the sage. "Which one wins, master?" The sage stepped closer, looked him directly in the eyes, and answered softly, "The one you feed every day." From that day on, Aaron practiced focusing his mind. He replaced negative thoughts with productive ones. He worked, he learned, he failed, and he tried again. And slowly, the chaos inside him quieted. For the first time, his mind obeyed him instead of defeating him. He had learned the greatest power a person can possess, the power to choose his thoughts. He told the sage, "I will feed the voice that builds me, not the one that breaks me." Your mind is your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. Choose wisely. If you want peace, focus, and strength, start by choosing just one better thought today, because a better life begins with a better mind. Thanks for watching.